Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Ghost Game episode 42, Human Hunter. I'm May, and I'm joined by the lovely Quinn.
Hi.
And of course, the equally lovely Chloe.
Hello.
Before we get into it, just some quick housekeeping updates, which shouldn't change too much, but we'll be recording separately on next week's episode because I'm out all day doing dog show stuff, so we'll just be doing our usual separate recording schedule going on for that week, and the other week should be fine, but if things happen I will make sure everyone knows about it. But yeah, so look forward to me talking to myself and then Quinn and Chloe also talking to themselves. So, but together so it's not, together talking to themselves, yeah. I realised that I made it sound like that they were just also isolated. No, it's just me, that'll be by my own self. But in any case, so that's the housekeeping. Did I already talk about I talked about the new Gammamon last week. So that was exciting. It's all we needed, another Gammamon, so that's cool. And
really,
so
I think the people have spoken. There are not enough Gammamon variants in Digimon.
No. It's so funny because I think like a few weeks before we were like, what if there was more Gammamon, and then lo and behold, more Gammamon was given to us.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so synopsis time. So the monster of the week is Oboromon, which is another new Digimon. This is a new Digimon as in August, as in like it appeared in a dim card in August, was first revealed in June. So very new Digimon. Same with Gyukimon, same with Espimon. New Digimon, who this?
How is there so much variance in the quality of new Digimon? Espimon is like F tier, and Oboromon was like solid B to A. I really like the design.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I love Oboromon as a design. Like that is just
Espimon
so
feels
cool.
like one of the not winning entries in the, kids send in your Digimon designs contest.
I still like Cyberpunk Hamtaro. I still like him.
That description is the only thing that makes me okay with him.
Yeah.
That's fair. It's like, it's Mega Man and Hamtaro. He's like, I don't mind his design, but I have to admit it did take me a while to get used to Espimon's design. It is kind of nice having a recurring character though, because it reminds me that things actually happen in this show.
I'll save it for the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll save that discussion. But anyway, so the rest of the synopsis is that the group hears about a demon that's hunting people and making people go disappear, basically. And we find out that some people are able to survive because they're holding on to mailboxes. And then the group investigate. They eventually find out that it is Oboromon and that there are actually multiple Oboromon who are each asking for a different colour. A hero gets straight up stabbed and impaled, so that's something that I think we wanted all...
Look, we all wanted to do it. It was gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, but we also got the case of the only character who didn't get spirited away by the Oboromon was Kiyoshiro, which he was the one who clued on to, it's literally telling me what to do, which is so funny to me.
I will
It'll be like, hold up
it for the discussion.
Yeah, it's like, hold up a coloured thing, this blue thing, and then really proceeds to hold up a black bag. Mm-hmm. Like, Oboromon is literally telling you.
It's the darkest shade of midnight blue.
Yeah. I was wondering if that's where they were going, but they were just like
they
confused
did
by
not.
it. But Oboromon is not like he's kind of obvious in what he wants. He's just like, hoist up a thing that is red, hoist up a thing that is blue, and Kiyoshiro actually does hold up a red thing, and it ignores him and stabs Hiro instead. But anyway, so the only character who doesn't get kidnapped is Kiyoshiro, and the Digimon, obviously, because the Oboromon says that they have no interest in the Digimon. We then find out that these humans are then taken to some weird pocket dimension where they're all combined into PG versions of the human centipede, and it's kind of disturbing that they go from being impaled to joined together by the limbs to other humans who have been captured, so that's creepy. And then we also find out that this is kind of a game that the Oboromon are playing to determine who gets to be king. So whoever has the longest strand of human centipede gets to be king. So so that's cool and fun, and I kind of love that it's just Digimon making a game, but also it's like a murderous game, and it's not like, and I'm really happy that it's not another case of the Oboromon lets them go, but I guess I'll save that for the discussion. But so then the King Oboromon gets all of them made into a scarf. Gammamon doesn't like the idea of Hero being a scarf for some reason. Can't imagine why. And starts to attack the Oboromon and fails because he's so small and weak. But this ends up breaking him and he becomes Gulas Gammamon. He destroys the King one and his scarf, which frees the humans. And then I guess starts to eat like the coloured hologram parts.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure on the best way to say that, but like each of them had a colour that was kind of surrounding their hologram, and then Gulas Gammamon starts to eat those colours. But not the Digimon, just the
something maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this part. I'm not sure really how to describe it either. But
He adjusts
in any
their
case,
RGB values.
maybe. So Hero then tries to get Gulas Gammamon to stop, and then Gulas Gammamon is like, we haven't even synced yet, and then says, see you later, bro, reverts to Gammamon, and the surviving Oboromon call Gulas Gammamon the Jet Black Champion, and then because it's a Gulas Gammamon episode, we get a random Dark Digimon variant standing on a cliff watching, because apparently that's just what happens in the Gulas Gammamon episodes.
Look, we're just channeling the spirit of Yamato. Gotta look broodingly
Mood,
off into
yeah.
the distance.
And be very cool about it. Now that we're done discussing the synopsis, let's discuss the discussions, because I know that we kept on trying to jump in, myself included,
Yeah.
with our discussion points. So what were our highlights this week?
The opening stinger was pretty spooky. We're just out here stabbing people, and that was pretty whack.
Yeah,
I
was into it. It was well set up. It was clearly executed. We did some stabbing. It was spoopy. We did a folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stabbing was like a highlight for me until I realised that it wasn't like, it was impaling and stabbing, but it wasn't like real.
Yeah, they bled yellow data.
Yeah, they sure didn't seem to even really feel like they were even that stabbed. They just kind of seemed to be vaguely uncomfortable rather than like in agony.
Rory made a phone call.
Yeah, with her voice barely even cracking.
Yeah, she looked
They
uncomfortable.
had good ideas that the censors were not gonna let them commit
Yeah,
to.
well, and I mean, we kind of did in the first one. In the first one, she just, like, screamed a bunch, and that makes sense. But, they could probably pass that off as screams of terror rather than pain.
Exactly.
Yeah. I thought by the start of the episode that we were just doing murder again, but I guess because Ruli and Hero both also got kidnapped, we couldn't.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's the only reason they didn't make it actual murder.
Same.
Because the start of the episode definitely seemed to seem like they were just murdering them. But also, just taking out the fact that Hero and Ruli were kidnapped, it would have been kind of like gruesomely cool to have just a body of corpses become the scarf rather than just a body of like a strand of long
That is
live
also
humans.
the reason they were not allowed to do that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But that's just that's haunting. I really like that, but I guess I understand that it is a kids show. There's only so much murder that they
Speaking
can
of body
do, and they've...
horror stuff, that's a pretty good highlight.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the body horror in this. Yeah, that was
the merging
was,
was
gross.
pretty neat. I loved the arm overlap bullshit.
I bet it felt very, very good. No, it's really, really good. Whatever, I messed up the line. It's an Ava, you know me.
Yeah, the whole LC... Yeah. As soon as it happened, I was like, wow, Chloe's gonna make an LCL. We're all becoming
Do you want to become
LCL
one with me? It's something that feels really, really good.
Oh, that was so creepy. But it was creepy. My main highlight was the fact that this was, and I kind of almost started to go off on this tangent during the synopsis, so forgive me, but what I was going to say was this is such a nice sort of thing. Like, they're just playing a game. They weren't, necessarily doing it to be evil. It was a game to them, but they didn't just release the humans back when they realized that humans don't like to become human centipede. Like, that wasn't the thing.
Yep.
They were actually destroyed, and that's how the humans were returned. So I like that. I like that we did it by actual battle rather than just...
I have my issues with the execution, but I agree with you in principle that, yes, I very much liked that it was they did not, make a point of reforming the bad guy and the bad guy turning everyone back to normal because they see the error of their ways now.
Yeah, sorry.
It was just because I
thought you wanted to be Yarn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want that? Humans don't like this?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, I didn't think that humans had feelings or something. They didn't make it like the Oboromon had there was some misunderstanding.
Yeah.
The Oboromon were just having fun, but they didn't really care what happened to the humans,
Yeah,
and
they
wouldn't have,
pretty chaotic evil.
Uh-huh.
which is nice. It's nice to just have these Digimon are just kind of jerks,
Today
and they
we
just
will
are
cause
evil.
problems for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't always need a reason for the Digimon to be evil. They don't have to have some, like, motive other than just, like, is evil. Like, this is fun for them, and this is how they decide who is the king of the Oboromon species, I guess.
I think they're really
that's
more
kinda
doing
cool.
it like the Who's the King game that, you'll find in Japan. They're just doing a competition to see who gets to, be in charge for the evening, was my read on
and
it.
that too.
Maybe.
Yeah, that too. Which is cool. Gruesome, but very cool. The other highlight being
Look,
I
how
love
else are we going to
Oboromon.
pick who gets to choose the club tonight?
Yeah, good point.
Sorry, what were you
Any
saying
other
there?
highlights?
I missed your
I was
last
just saying
one.
I love Oboromon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love Oboromon so much.
Solid animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation was good, and the fire of Oboromon, that was just that was good.
We got a hint of plot, which was neat.
Yeah. I always appreciate just a
Yeah.
little bit of plot, almost.
Always like a Gulus appearance. And yeah, like the stealing their colors or whatever it was, that was neat. I don't really know what it accomplished, though. It clearly didn't kill them the way it did the red one, but it was still cool.
It sort of vaguely looked like maybe it was a power-up, at least on the first one, but then, we sure didn't turn that into something.
I think it was just meant to be haunting.
Yeah.
Fair.
Which I suppose it lived
I
up
think
to. It was spooky.
I
Yeah.
think it was spooky, yeah. I just, again, I know I say this in every Gulus Gammamon episode, but I love Gulus Gammamon's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the point of it was just to show that, Gulus Gammamon could just go up to them and take something from them like it's no big deal.
That's fair.
Yeah. Also, I'm fairly certain these are perfect level Digimon, and Gulus Gammamon is still an adult, so just to point that out. Very powerful.
Strong boy.
He's a strong boy. Any other highlights?
I think we've hit all of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that leaves it time for the lowlights. What were our lowlights?
All right.
Espimon.
Espimon was just here for no reason.
Yeah, I barely remembered he was there, but you're right. He just kind of was like, I'm looking for the real hero, sips juice.
Yep.
No.
I saw these Oni, and I'm going to say something about it, and then have basically nothing to do with actually figuring out where we need to go.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that people were getting killed. A thing we definitely couldn't have heard on the news.
Or definitely had not already been hearing about.
Yeah, didn't people contact Ruri?
Yeah, that's why they
like-
rebuilt the team or whatever.
Yeah, so just Espimon should have just not been around.
I see your point. Like, I feel like a lot of the Espimon appearances could be completely removed and changes nothing, except for obviously the Espimon debut episode. But every other episode has been like, Espimon just exists,
Yep, he
so we can
sure
remember
is
that he
still
exists.
around. Yep.
Can Espimon not be the Taichi?
I mean, we got what
what if it
30
turns
something
out-
episodes.
What if it turns out that Espimon is Taichi?
No, thank
I
you.
hope not.
I'm gonna know that. Yeah. Nah.
But by virtue of having had, 30 something episodes without Espimon, I don't think you can quite be Taichi, but, we're still in the general ballpark, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just a
It's
character
definitely
no one
starting to
asked
happen.
for.
I mean, I like him, but I wish that he did something.
Yeah.
Other than just like saying, you're not hero, where's hero, and be invisible.
I wish they would play with the toys they already have and let Ruri engage meaningfully with the plot.
Oh, another highlight, Airdramon.
Yeah.
I initially had the fact that Airdramon had lines as a highlight, but I moved that to a miscellaneous thought, so I don't know why I brought it up.
That's
now
fair.
that I think about it.
Like, Airdramon is feeling more important than Espimon at this
That's
point.
fair.
Like, but also, I mean, I might be biased there.
Just maybe.
But in terms of, like, Espimon, like, I don't know. I feel like he's meant to be there as a future partner because his
God, I
adult
hope
level...
not.
Oh no.
No, But, well, hear me out, because we have Jellymon, Angoramon, and Gammamon, and all of their adult levels are something, and then their child level names. So we've got Tesla, Jellymon, Simbara, Angoramon, and then
Sure.
all of Gammamon's adult levels. So in terms of Espimon, his adult level is Hover Espimon. So it follows that that sort of naming convention. So I think he
Please
might
no.
be like, well, maybe he gets better. But in terms of
He'd have to get
Espimon as a
lot
character,
better
like
and look
he
better.
And stop kind of looking
know-
like a sex toy.
Yeah.
no. But anyway,
You
in
want him
the
to keep
current
looking like a sex toy?
No. In the currently running manga, Digimon Dreamers, there's also Espimon, but he's got, like, a bit more of a character there. He is a scientist, or at least an assistant to the Professor Vadamon, who is looking at localized evolution and uses Chimeramon as an example of localized evolution, where it's just a Digimon but has evolved the parts of different Digimon, rather than 100% evolving to that Digimon. It's sort of like evolved parts of it. So that's interesting. Another thing is Espimon. Espimon also kind of runs, like, or at least they were joking about him running a celebrity gossip blog, and then he eats some meat and then says that maybe he's going to become like a gourmet food blogger. And that is
You
just
had
really
me for
funny.
a minute, but you're losing me.
It's a comedy manga, and it's just one of those weird sort of just like makes weird. Anyway, I like Espimon in the manga. Here, I'm hoping that it goes somewhere. But in any case, my main lowlight about this episode, and this is the reason why I'm not a big fan of this episode, and it's just the fact that it follows the same story flow, exact same as all the other Ghoulish Gammamon episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Digimon, Hero is in danger, or Gammamon is upset for some reason, or both, and then we have Gammamon evolve into Ghoulish Gammamon after he makes the face, and then he kills something or injures something, and then Hero tells him to Yamete.
pain.
Yeah.
He expresses the man pain. Hero yells Yamete,
Mhm.
and then he Yametes, but despite also saying that he doesn't want to.
He snarkily
And then-
Yamates.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says some smug, vague things, and then we pan out to see that there's a dark variant Digimon watching the whole thing. And we don't get anything new. If Dark Growlmon says, oh, that's what you're doing, Hero's dad or something, I don't know. Like, if he said anything, that would have been made it better, because it would have been something new,
But no,
other than just the exact same.
mystery.
Well, that's why I said hint of plot.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah,
that's
it's-
where I don't
yeah.
really think you're right about Espimon being a new partner, because I think we can't have a new partner come in partway through the season, because that would imply a linear story.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Unless they're setting
Better-
up for a season 2, in which case maybe.
Or
But
just the finale arc, potentially.
Yeah, well, they could just have a
I
finale
could
arc like
maybe
Young
see
Hunters.
them pulling out Espimon is actually Hero's dad's partner.
Oh no, I hate how probably right you are.
Yeah, no, I'm that's what I'm starting to think.
course he's a
Or at least maybe
sex toy.
a secondary partner for Hero.
It does make sense.
I know. I
Yeah.
hate it. My next lowlight is that Jellymon just keeps friggin' off at the beginning of missions for no reason.
Absolutely
Oh, no,
none.
she gave a reason. She said that she wanted to do some business, but there were no Digimon around.
Yeah, we're just going on a mission to, like,
Hey,
you know,
so there's some murderers on
we're
the loose,
investigating
but
murders, but, I gotta go
I gotta
make
do
my money.
business with someone.
Yeah.
I don't
Or
mind
have
it
the
because we know that
opportunity
she
to
does
do
that.
business with someone, since
You
she
know,
clearly did
business.
this episode.
What did you not understand about, I'm sorry, I had to do business with no one?
It's just
Mm.
annoying that they've had her do that, like, 3 or 4 times at least now.
Yeah.
Does she? Oh no, she does come back, doesn't she? Because she evolves, but then she gets kind of
Yeah,
like
she's
injured.
there.
I don't think Jellymon evolved this episode, unless I'm
Yeah,
misremembering.
to Tesla Jellymon. I think we see her as Tesla Jellymon at least.
In
Maybe
last
she evolved off
in the
screen.
last episode, we definitely did.
No, in this episode, because
did we?
I mean, I thought that she was appearing as Tesla Jellymon when Oboromon attacks the whole group, but I might be
Oh
misremembering.
no, yeah,
You
you're
are
right.
correct, yeah.
I just
But
forgot about that
it was
because
pretty
it didn't matter.
forgettable because
Yeah.
all 4 characters could have just not been in this episode.
Yeah, it didn't mean anything. Which I
okay.
guess is another low light, that it could have been a Kiyoshiro does stuff episode,
And it looked like it was gonna
but
be.
it looked like it was going to be because everyone else got kidnapped, but
And
Then
they did
was
the
the Gulas Gammon
Temperature
episode.
Overflow thing and had him change into
And
the
the limit
serious
break.
personality.
And what that did was help him connect extremely obvious dots that were basically already aligned.
He tried listening to the words coming out of their mouths.
Which, for some reason, nobody else did, which is kind of one of my lowlights.
That's
That,
another one of our
Uh-huh.
lowlights, yep.
that
You
nobody
literally could
picked
just-
up on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could literally just listen to what they're saying to figure out what to do. It's not that hard. Like, they treat it like it's some huge discovery, but they've literally been shouting it at you the whole time. And it just makes everyone else come off as, like, extremely dumb that they can't put two and two together to realize that the fact that these Digimon are constantly yelling about colors means that their objectives might have something to do with colors.
We needed the nuclear physicist to come in and explain that part.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't.
and like, especially because, at least from what you have said, Quinn, that this is like kind of related to the Oni folklore.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
like,
not
they
super
should
duper
know
familiar,
that.
but yeah, it's a lot.
And the thing is that sometimes with the yokai folklore, we've got like, I think it's like the woman with the Glasgow smile. You're meant to like say, "Oh, sorry, I'm," like, she comes up to you and she's like, "Hey, don't you think I'm pretty?" And then she shows her Glasgow smile to you, and you're meant to say, "Oh, sorry, I'm running late for an appointment." And then she doesn't like give you a Glasgow smile or kill you.
Mm-hmm.
But so a lot of those yokai have like very specific things that you're meant to say when you encounter them, but they're usually not straightforward as hold up an item of this color and I won't stab you.
Yeah. I'll even. How did they not make the connection when they were like, yeah, some people got away by hanging onto a post box? And I'm like, yeah, the red post boxes?
Well, I guess not all of them are asking for red things.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well,
given that
sure,
there are
but at
five
the-
of them,
But at that point in the story, at least, we'd only been shown the red one.
That's
and,
true.
You know, it's basically narrative
And it's
cheating otherwise.
And like, yeah, we have hold up something blue, holds up something black. Really, are you colorblind, sweetheart?
the paper bag didn't work.
I thought you said holding up a paper bag would work. Well, have you tried listening to words? Anyway.
It's so funny. It's almost like that they couldn't actually hear what was being said, and I would have like
I didn't
assumed
to
as
give
much
that to all
until
the others, but
yeah, we actually have Kiyoshiro listen to them, so definitely it is audible.
Yep. Getting into kind of nitpicky lowlights, the fact that, you know, this girl's sister has been missing for 3 days, so her parents took off work, seems a little underwhelming of a response. And then also, they're saying the police are just ignoring the Oni case, but like, a girl has still been missing for 3 days.
and dozens
Oh,
of
yeah.
others.
Like, you could just tell the parents to shut up and they're being crackpots about the Oni stuff, but there is still a bunch of missing people.
Yeah, which you shouldn't, just because you don't believe what has actually happened, something has still happened. Like, there is a missing person.
Yep. For all that the body melting stuff was cool, making a scarf was not.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine.
Another nitpicky thing of mine, which is judging because they explicitly said whoever kills the most humans is the king, and then using the length of the scarf to judge that. That's a bad way to do that. You could just kill exclusively tall people and kill fewer people, but end up with a larger chain if you're lucky. They weren't
fair
thinking
point.
it through.
Yeah. Children
That
are
is
worth
a
fewer
fair point,
points
you're
this
right.
way.
But yeah, I will also go on to say that while I do appreciate that we didn't make a deliberate point of unscarfing all of the people and, you know, having the bad guy learn the error of their ways and turn them back, it sure was lucky that when they killed him, they just turned back rather than also being, you know, digitally vaporized or whatever.
Or
Yeah,
just
that's a
stuck
fair
as
point.
Giant scarf forever.
Yeah.
That would have been so
And also,
sick.
like, it's lucky that they also survived being combined, because they were combined into,
sure
like,
were.
I don't know, silly putty. It looked
Yeah.
really gruesome and
I bet it felt
permanent.
really, really
but
good.
It wasn't.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, it was definitely LCL. But I'm good that it's a good thing that it was all like they could revert it,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
makes the stakes feel not so high.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
what I honestly wanted from this, and it might be too much to ask from a kids show, and I know that this is a kids show. I'm not going to say, oh, this is for it's at the end of the day, it's a kids show. We're watching a show for kids. So what I wanted from this was have just Ruli and Hiro are in hospital for a few episodes. I know it's episodic, so that wouldn't work, but just at least we see them in hospital at the end of the episode or something, because they've been stabbed. And maybe it's not like a terrible stab, maybe it's just kind of like a wound, but just show me that they suffered a little bit. Just make the stakes feel like they're a little bit
suffer,
high.
Please.
Well, I mean,
Quinn,
he did get
I don't know.
stabbed. I mean, in fairness, he did get stabbed.
Digimon Ghost Game has made me be greedy for Digimon things that actually are what I want, because Digimon Survive, and I won't spoil it, but has literally been everything I've ever wanted from any Digimon story, and it's done multiple things where I've said, I really wish Digimon did this. I really wish Digimon did this. I really wish Digimon did this. And it took those things and then made it happen. So Digimon Survive is by far like the best thing that's come out for Digimon. I've almost finished with the Truthful Route, and there's so many hours in this game. So Digimon Survive has made me more greedy, and I think that's why my rankings went from this episode's a 5, this episode's a 5, to like this episode was definitely okay. Because Digimon Survive made me realize that Digimon can actually be good, and I guess I just was kind of sitting and like, well, I guess Digimon can be okay.
Yeah, you don't have to
That's
settle
good.
for almost doing the thing that you want anymore.
Yeah. Digimon Survive has just gone past, hey, no more almost, we're doing the thing. And I guess to some extent Atmon also did that as well. Like, there was no, like, almosts. It did things, which is good. So Ghost Game definitely does more than a lot of the anime series, which is sometimes lacking. But in general, Survive has made me greedy, and I want more from this. Like, yes, but did the kids suffer? Or were they just scared of what was happening?
Yep. Another kind of nitpicky one, but it also kind of ties into what you were saying earlier about just the formula of the Gulus episode. I get that they're trying to be mysterious and all, but like, I wish they would give us a hint as to Gulus's
Anything?
like overarching motivations or whatever, rather than just, having him voluntarily transform back for no discernible reason. The first time it was like, oh, he ran out of power or something, but every time since then he's just been inexplicably cooperative.
Yeah, it just says something snarky and then goes away.
And I'm fine if they do that, but I wish they would give us some breadcrumbs as to what that's about, so that we have something to speculate about other than just there's something there.
In the same way that Dad's just been in the digital world, I guess, since episode 2.
Yeah, well, this is why I wanted the dark variant Digimon to say something or give us some information there. And maybe if we got an English dub, we could get them to say something. I feel like that would be a good place to put in some random English dub line of so this is what your son is doing, or something like that. I don't know.
But
give us something like even if it's just the dark Growlmon going, Takatomon, or something. I don't know why my voice went Yoda. That was meant to be Gilmon, but it went Yoda instead. Like, Takatomon I am. I don't know. But just something.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see, because we do keep doing dark versions of various partner Digimon. I'm curious if we're actually doing anything with that, or they're just wanting to make additional dark versions of things.
I don't mean all of these dark Digimon do exist. There are so many color variants. The fact that there are 18 Agumon and now 374 Greymon at this point, or at least it feels like that, there's just so many variants. I'm happy to see them being used, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that they are showing up, but I wish that they had something.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just realized the breakdown wasn't involving Champion or Chocolate this time.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Usually I swear it's mentioned when he's having a bad moment.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Or bad vibes.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get this one, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
My last lowlight is not necessarily a lowlight of this episode in particular. It's more of a recent episode, specifically since they started doing the analyzer at the end of the episode, which is
Oh, I
not
hate
only
it.
do I wish that they were not doing that, but also they're just too formulaic. Every single one of them is just, here's some info about the Digimon, here's Ruli, giving a real life example or something, and then, saying something to deliberately make Kiyoshiro scared, and then Kiyoshiro screams at the end. Haha!
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I also don't like the fact that, this week's episode, and I guess I missed out on this in the highlight, but at least this episode felt like it was decently paced.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
Like it never felt rushed at all, and it didn't feel like it used up too much time doing one thing. It felt like it was fine in terms of pacing, but most episodes feel like if they didn't have the analyzer thing at the end, we would have a little bit more content. But at least in this episode, it wasn't really needed. But I'm not a huge fan of the analyzer. It's kind of I'm just at that point waiting for the next time on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which, highlight, next time on, looks horrifying.
Looks pretty sick.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get to that in the predictions. But do we have any other lowlights?
I think that covers mine. We talked about how we wished that the integer overflow stuff actually meant anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think we've hit all of mine then.
Alright, favorite character? Mine was actually really hard to pick one, but I just went with Gammamon.
That's fair, I guess.
He felt like he actually had a character, and I felt for him when he was attacking and screaming and like attacking Oboromon. I felt bad for him. I felt for him. I actually had emotions. I was like, oh no, Gammamon.
Yeah, no, that's
he's going
fair.
through so much. Like, they did a good job with that, so I'm going to pick Gammamon. And also, I think they wrote Gammamon well in this episode. They didn't make him too baby. They made him is baby, but is baby enough to be reasonable,
He seems,
be in line with
10-year-old
Yep.
baby in a very stressful situation, which is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on board for that.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like, oh, he lost his temper about a small thing. Like, he just saw, like, some pretty traumatic things, so that is fair for him to freak out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Chloe, who was your favourite?
I'm actually going to defer to Quinn because I want to see if I can think of an actual answer before giving my effective non-answer if I can. So go ahead, Quinn.
You're not allowed to pick LCL. LCL's not a character.
Don't worry, it's
It
not.
wasn't LCL. I'm going
Was it
with
Ray?
Oboromon for stabbing Hero, because we've all wanted to.
Yeah, I like Hero, but I have also wanted to see him, like, be the one who gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
And he was, so that was good.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in a coma, maybe after suffering a little more, but,
Jeez. Wow, Quinn. Anyway, Chloe, have you made a decision that isn't Rei Ayanami or LCL?
It's
Technically, yes.
Well, so I'm actually not even gonna say what I wrote down because it's not a character from this episode, and I'm sorry. It is the Asuka, Rei, and Misato inside Shinji's heart that want to become one with him and feel really, really good.
Why? I'm just gonna write Evangelion reference.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna put you down for from now on. If you like, you can say your full character that is an Evangelion reference. But from now on, I'm probably just gonna write Evangelion reference just so we have a tally
That is fine,
of the Evangelion.
yeah.
And maybe I'll write in like a comment section to the side what that Evangelion
The
reference was.
specifics.
But I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
tally up how many Evangelion references that you've chosen as
I approve
characters.
of this.
A good number,
I love it, by the
unfortunately.
way. This isn't me, like, saying no more Evangelion references. This is actually me saying just go off, I guess, Queen.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. You can't stop me.
I love the Evangelion references every time. And if I don't think of
It's
one,
the
I'm
one
just like,
thing I'm
I
good
wonder
for
what
on this podcast.
I wonder what Chloe's Evangelion reference will be, because I can't think of one. But this time it was like, wow, this is just LCL. We're just doing the LCL. Cool. Yeah, so those are our characters. We've got Gammamon, Oboromon, and Evangelion reference.
Yep.
So that tracks. So in terms of rating out of 5, I gave it probably too high again. I gave it a 4. I might lower mine depending on what y'all give it. I feel like it could have been a 5 if we hadn't already had the previous Schoolless Gammon episodes that do the exact same thing. But in general, this episode was fine. I liked that it was well paced. I liked the fact that we got some body horror. Oboromon's stabbing was cool. Oboromon's design was super cool. And the fact that the solution was just murder and wasn't just, hey, Oboromon, can you not maybe is that cool with you? And then Aboromon going, lol, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, no, the solution was murder, and I'm good with that. So, yeah, a 4, but again, that might change here after hearing Jarl's ratings. So, Chloe, what are you giving it out of 5?
So, for what it's worth, I also was kind of thinking along the same lines, and I wrote down 4 in my notes. I was kind of waiting to see whether or not the discussion would sway me very much in one direction or the other. But I think I'm landing in right about the same area where it's like, you know, it was a good episode with just a lot of little things that just knocked it down. It whittled it away a little bit, you know? It could have been a 5.
Yeah.
It ended up a 4.
Yeah. Similar vibe for me. I started out at a 4. I have come to decide on a 3.5.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll keep mine a 4 because that's, yeah, it was a fine episode, but yeah, as Chloe put it best, it has those little things. Those kind of like little things that go like, oh yeah, but it could have been better. And again, Digimon Survive has just spoiled me on just by giving me something good. I'm just like, I wasn't expecting Digimon to be good. What? Like, oh, I'm actually enjoying Digimon? Huh, is that possible?
No, air.
Like, I don't know, like, I didn't, like, after watching Colin, I was just like, maybe I just don't enjoy the Digimon anime anymore, and then Ghost Game was enjoyable, at least, and then I'm like, you know, maybe this is just what Digimon can be, and then Digimon Survive came out and just hit me in the face, like, oh no, things can be good, things can be better, things can get better. Just because some things are bad, there is possibility for better. I should be a motivational speaker. No, I shouldn't, that'd be a terrible idea. But,
you should motivate
anyway,
people to play Digimon.
Yeah, a self-help where it's just like me sitting on a stage and I just turn to the microphone, y'all should play Digimon Survive, and then the curtain just drops. And then the applause sign lights up. So, yeah, that's me as a motivational speaker. Not probably not a good one, but better than others, I'm sure.
I feel like Air's Instrumentality is a pretty good episode title.
Mm-hmm.
Air's Instrumentality. Okay, fine. Let's do that.
Air is the name of episode 26 Prime or whatever.
Oh, you're right. Oh no, I'm an Evangelion reference.
Prime, like one of those.
Yeah, I am an Evangelion reference. Oh dear. Oh no. Alright, yeah, I was just going to call it Human Centipede or PG-rated Human Centipede, but Air's Instrumentality is much better.
There you go.
Thank you for saving me from the Human Centipede reference.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yep.
Okay, so overall ranking gets an 11.5, and going down the list, we only have one other 11.5, which is my favourite, because we just have to decide if we liked that episode or this episode better. And our other 11.5 was episode 35, Werewolf, which, what did I give that one? I apparently gave that episode a 3, but I remember quite liking it. My rankings never make any sense. So, did y'all enjoy this episode more or less than the werewolf episode?
That's tough.
I think I'm gonna say less.
Oh no. I'm not gonna be helpful here because I think I liked them about the same. Maybe a little less, though, now that I think about it, because the werewolf episode had kind of that, like, these townspeople are just kind of crazy and are trying to sacrifice you vibe, which I'm always down for the horror of real,
the cult
humanity
was sick.
stuff, yeah. So, upon further reflection, I'll put it as just below.
Yeah.
Yep, that tracks. I will, put it under, so that puts it in 22nd place if it's just under werewolf. So in terms of my own ranking, I put it at the top of my 4s, but keep in mind, I have far too many 5s
Yes.
and a few 4.5s, so that puts it at the top of my 4s in 17th place. That's apparently how many episodes I gave a 5 to. It's like more than 10. So I can be optimistic occasionally, I guess. So yeah, mine is in 17th place. So yeah, I guess we've got, like, in the overall ranking, it's in the middle, and this is kind of like the upper end of the middle, which tracks. And my Excel's frozen. Chloe, where are we putting this episode in your ranking?
I think it's going in... Yeah, it's going in 19th place.
19th place?
19th
Okie
place,
dokie.
between Cannibal Mansion and Clown.
Yeah, Cool. So also kind of like in the middle area of the ranking.
It's towards the top of my 4s, but yeah, roughly in the middle of my overall.
Yeah.
And I've
Quinn?
got it a little bit lower than y'all, but still reasonably high in 23rd between 12 Chain Letter and 27 Monsters Beauty Serum.
Cool. So more or less in the middle. And I feel like this is the most we've agreed for a while. We've been kind of a little bit out of sync in our ratings. I guess since episode 37, which we all gave a 5 to apparently.
We just haven't been able to achieve
Which was
the
Herd of
same
the Dead,
sync rate.
so yeah, there's another Evangelion reference. Here we go. Yeah. So
No, don't do
More or
Please
less-
don't.
yeah, more
shouldn't
or
even
less
joke
this
about
episode
that,
is
don't do
kind of
that.
in the middle. Do we have any miscellaneous thoughts?
Airdramon wasn't a mute bus this episode. He said things.
And also, I think Jellymon and Airdramon don't get along.
Yep.
Yeah, which
'Cause
you know,
Jellymon's kinda
tracks
terrible
because
to him.
Jellymon just misgendered the shit out of him the very first time they met.
And also said it wasn't comfortable.
Yep.
Like it was
just
like
kind of
like
terrible.
Jellymon
Yeah.
wasn't comfortable.
Jellymon just sucks.
Yeah. But I don't have any other miscellaneous thoughts. I guess it is nice to see Airdramon being a returning character.
Mhm.
Like, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, definitely. I want Jellymon to suffer more.
Yeah, kind of, but I still kind of like Jellymon. I'm kind of glad we have a partner Digimon who is kind of awful to everyone. I
That's
really
fair.
would love Kyoshiro to call Jellymon out a bit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We are way past far enough in for them to have developed a little beyond just keep taking the abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Agreed.
Like,
We
Is
had
it, like-
Ruli and Goramon, have struggles. Why can't Kyushu and Jellymon, work and grow together?
I'm not sure if I'm about to use this word correctly or not because it's one of those newer words that make me feel super old, but is Kyoshiro a simp to Jellymon? Am I using that term right?
I think you might be.
I don't know.
In a weird,
but
like
I
not
hate
in
it.
not in a.
Because he's calling her Summer,
Yeah.
like
that's,
Jellymon
yeah.
Summer,
Yeah.
and kind of like treat like if someone says, "Hey, call me this," you are more than welcome to say no. But Kyoshiro doesn't, and I really just want an arc of Ghost Game. I mean, I guess not a arc is probably the wrong word, but like just an episode where we just call out on bad friends. We have Hiro maybe calling out his bad friend, and then we have Kyoshiro calling out on Jellymon being awful. I just kind of want that because I do still like Jellymon, but I really think that she needs to be like knocked down a peg. And it feels like they're setting her up to be knocked down slightly because she's kind of being
God, I
like
hope so.
not a team player.
Yeah, 'cause
like, hey,
she's
we're
been the
investigating the
worst.
Mon of the Week, and Jellymon's just like, Mon of the Week's boring. I don't like this formula, and then just leaves.
What about I have business was unclear.
But the thing is, she doesn't. She's just looking for business. It's not like she's got like already organized business.
Nope.
Now that we're done discussing the discussions and making Evangelion references, let's move on to pondering predictions and Postmon Pat. So first up, over on YouTube, we have Nitro Dusk, who says they're not saying it was aliens, but it was Piedmon, and they want that on a bumper sticker. And that'd be a good
that's
bumper
not
sticker.
bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. And then they say, okay, but they're pretty behind in the series. So they've got to say that it seems like a bunch of the Mons really have their punches pulled. It's too bad. They would have loved a spookier first episode for the new Piedmon, but it was still refreshing to see the tall bean staying near humans in a calm setting. And yeah, I did like that. Like, while last episode wasn't my favorite by any means, it was kind of cool that Ruli and Piedmon were more or less seen as equals. Like, that was pretty cool. Next, we have JCMon05, who says that the spooky vibe of the episode was pretty great for them, and they know that our scores were lowered by the similarities to the Fortune Teller's Manor, but this episode came first. Would you have rated higher? I would have.
Yeah, probably.
Like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, almost certainly.
Like,
if
I
I
feel
didn't
like this-
say that last episode, I think I meant to.
I think we might have, or we might have at least sort of started to. We might have gotten distracted because but like sometimes when I'm editing, I'll be listening to my voice and I'm like, I don't think I finished that sentence. I feel like I went on a completely different tangent. So maybe we did.
Do it.
Yeah, maybe we did. And sometimes I do actually come back to it like, oh yes, that's right. I had a thought before. Brains are weird. But yeah, I think we at least started to mention that this last week's episode 41, was a better execution of the story than the Fortune Teller Manor. But because it was so similar and also after it felt not so good. They then say that they're new to the Vital Bracelet and they're loving it, which is good because I actually love the Vital Bracelet. It is by far my favourite virtual pet-esque thing that's out at the moment. I love it to pieces because you don't actually have to really necessarily care for it. If you're having a bad day and you don't want to give it care, it still lives on your wrist. It only dies if you battle it too much and make it get injured, or if you leave it off your wrist not in sleep mode. So I love it because if I'm just too busy and I don't have time for it, it doesn't die. And that is so good. But yeah, so they're loving the Vital Bracelet, but they did
25 years to reach this point in the technology.
Also,
It's a- yeah.
I mean,
Anyway.
product placement time. Yeah.
Well, at least it came out before the series, so that product placement in Adventure Colon with the dim card, that still annoys me.
That was pretty terrible, yeah.
I'm just kind of rubbed the wrong way by a piece of technology that gets you to use it by guilt tripping you if you don't. Like,
yeah.
just do this or your Digimon will die.
Oh no, you can put it in the app, or you can put it into like a pause mode or turn it off. Like there's an off switch. You can turn it off.
You need to explicitly interact with it, or your Digimon will die.
That's a virtual pet. Virtual pets need to be fed. It's just a virtual pet, but it's an easy mode virtual pet because it just needs to be on your wrist.
Yeah, that's
or
fair.
turned
Well,
off.
yeah, and I'm not saying that I don't also have that qualm with all of the virtual pets. It just kind of seems a little predatory to me, to be honest. It's just kind of preying on the human
just a
instinct to
game.
want to care for something. Well, yeah, but like then it gets you to suck more money into it, and
You better buy it in all 10 colors.
yeah.
They're not always like that. But anyway, so they say that they didn't realize that Gammamon was a virus type, which kind of explains a lot. Is he the first partner of the main child to be a virus since Gilmon? I think so. I think Cross Wars is a little bit different because you could just capture multiple Digimon. So I'm gonna say if you're not including Cross Wars, then absolutely it's the last one that was a virus was Gilmon. So that is cool. I think Angoramon and Jellymon are also, one is Vaccine and one is Data as well. So that's something else that's similar to Digimon Tamers. In any case, next Postmon Pat comment is Narumi, who says they liked episode 41 because they thought that Ruli would be sidelined by Hero like in episode 25, so they were happy that didn't happen. They think that the Lamortmon fight was unnecessary, but they finally didn't show Canon Weissmon defeating the Mon of the Week for the 4th time in the row. And yeah, that's a good point. I don't think we really touched on that, but even though Lamortmon showing up to go to Mephistomon and say, hey, don't fight, that was silly, but yeah, we didn't touch on the fact that it wasn't just Canon Weissmon showing up to fight, which he does in every episode. And he didn't in this episode either. So that's always good because I'm starting to get sick of, and then we get Canon Weissmon and the day is saved thanks to Canon Weissmon and Canon Weissmon alone because he's the only one that matters. So
The day
that is a good point.
immediately before we run into the time limit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that. They then say that they think they could show that Ruli won the fight against Piedmon, that's it. So they would have had time to investigate where the circus was, but it seemed like the circus was in the same place where it was during the day. And the first Mega Digimon show in the series was Platinum Numemon in a flashback when Digitalmon said about his and Angoramon's adventure in the digital world. I guess, but also that's like a flashback to something that I'm I forgot that happened, but also does it count? I don't think it counts as much as like the Mon of the Week being a Mega and they have to fight the Mon of the Week, even though they didn't actually fight the Mon of the Week.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't care.
That's a good answer.
That is fair.
I'm very tired.
Next we have Nathan, who asks us what our favourite Mega level Digimon is and says that theirs is Impelgramon or Jessmon. So mine is Machinedramon / Mugendramon because a big old dinosaur robot really ticks my boxes, like all of my boxes. Like I just think he's really cool looking. I really hated how he was handled in Adventure.
Just all
I'm sorry.
boxes.
All my boxes. He just is cool. Like not in like a non PG-13 way. Like just in a completely like in a G-rated way. He is cool. I've always thought he was cool. Like he is just dragon dinosaur robot. And I'm like yeah. Like I was like yeah when I was 8, and now I'm like yeah when I'm 29. Like
that's fair.
Just a cool mon. Just needs to be in more things. My best friend, I would die for this mon. What about y'all?
I don't know what are mega level Digimon, so I abstain.
The strongest ones, like Piedmon, Wargreymon, Rosemon.
I still don't know which ones those are.
And I'll be honest,
Name a
I
Digimon.
just don't have one.
That is fair. To be fair, I only have one because there is not really many times where I don't think about Digimon.
I believe
Like,
that.
I really like Digimon, y'all.
I can see that being put on your tombstone, yes.
Yeah, it should be.
really
I
liked Digimon.
should write that
Rarely
somewhere.
thought
I
about
should write that.
things not Digimon.
I really need to write that down somewhere so that can actually be written on my tombstone. And I know that people would think that's cringe. I don't care.
Oh god, you're
At
gonna
29,
get a
I
Digivite
don't.
shaped tombstone.
I absolutely would. Like, you think I
I
wouldn't?
dream about Digimon.
Yeah, it's like, does Airdramon dream of Digimon? Yes. What else do people dream about? Getting money? I don't know. Boring. But no, I really like. I just enjoy Digimon. I just think they're neat. But yeah. So next we have KG wondering about the other kids being able to command Jellymon's attacks, and they're wondering, and this is actually a really good point, maybe just Jellymon has no loyalty.
That makes sense, yeah. Jellymon being kind of terrible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it certainly seems like she has no loyalty, but like I don't remember now on her introduction episode, was there ever anything that was like, formally bonding her to Kiyoshiro, or did they just kind of happen to...
I don't think we do that.
She was just pranking him.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was just kind of following him around being a jerk.
Gotcha.
And then the
So,
vital
yeah, not
bracelets
like-
happened.
Yeah, so nothing like I guess Angoramon got to be with Ruli because he was kind of like really interested in her music and was kind of wanting to be friends with her. Jellymon just really liked bullying Kiyoshiro, and that was why, from memory at least.
That sounds right.
Okay, well yeah, fair enough. Maybe then.
Next, we have Mystic Digital says that they, for episode 41, they enjoyed it a lot. They felt like Piedmon's definition of strength was who was the luckiest, and they liked the card game because it was unique, and they always enjoy a good heart of the cards moment. Plus, the best part of the episode was Taboo Catmon. They've always loved the little airplane cat, and glad it's finally got a debut. And yeah, I didn't like Taboo Catmon's design ever when I first saw it, but I liked it once it was actually animated, so maybe it was just the art style that I've seen it drawn in before. Next, we have Lazy Crocodile says they enjoyed episode 41 quite a lot while watching it, but it felt like it went pretty fast. This is probably the less evil Piedmon that we've had from recent memory, and it just kind of accepted the loss and was convinced the loss was just the reason not to make the new deck of cards with the kids. And the next episode which is this week's episode, seems pretty cool, and overall they're enjoying the series, but they want to know when we're going to go to the chocolate factory. I'm not sure if I get the last part of that.
What?
Something about going to the digital world, but yeah, not real clear.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I know. I think you're right there. I think they're meaning the digital world.
And that does make sense. We're ostensibly, most of the way through the season at this point. It's a little weird
Next,
that we don't know anything about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Next, we have Andrew, who's wondering about Espimon's ability to turn invisible. Is that something that all the holograms can do, or is that Espimon? That's just a special ability of Espimon. He does it in the manga as well. Next, we have Mateus, who says that they're not sure what to think about Ghost Game anymore. The episode wasn't bad or anything, and they still enjoy the weekly adventures, and they like having a Digimon anime that is not Adventure 2020, which was by far the worst thing the franchise has to offer. They knew that the show was going to be episodic from the start, but somehow they feel a little bit betrayed by the writers with all the mysteries that they have introduced, like Black Tailmon and their deal, something happening in the digital world that is making Digimon appear in the human world, Gammamon, the Black Variant Digimon, the hints of continuity, etc. But after episode 20, it seems like everything was dropped. And yet I completely agree with this point. Like, it's fine for something to be episodic, but they keep on hinting at things, and then they did at this episode, which...
Yeah, they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm interested to see what Mateus thinks now that they've gone back to Gammamon and the Black Variant Digimon, but they didn't do anything different with them that we didn't already see.
Yep.
And then we have the last comment, which is from Dash Reinvent, who also has something along the lines of saying, and a lot of the comments are about this, that the episodic nature is killing the show, and they kind of just go this, like, a lot of the episodes are repetitive of each other and they're similar, and how Espimon's turning invisible and Bokumon's saying that all Digimon have the ability to go invisible, so why is Espimon just bothering to use this special skill? And it's just a special skill. still, I guess. But yeah, that is a point. Like, I'm enjoying the episodic nature, but I really wish that we did something.
Yep.
Yeah, at the very least, I'll be less annoyed about it if you don't then tease the idea that you care about the plot at the end of the episode.
Mm.
You know, if you just didn't have the Dark Digimon show up in this episode, I would be less annoyed about it than if you just hadn't made this episode pretend to be about plot.
Now that we're done with Postmon Pat, what are our thoughts about the series so far?
Pick a lane.
Yeah. Either commit to having continuity week to week, or stop giving us these little drips in the Gulus Gammamon episodes, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I wish that this episode, and I know I said it before, broken record, my apologies. I just wish that this gave us something more than what we'd already seen with the other Gulus Gammamon episodes. This episode was just an exact repeat, but with different characters slotted in and a slightly different premise in terms of the monster of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Just like last week.
I just kind of wish it was something different.
Yep.
But it is nice to see Gulus Gammamon again, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's about
And
all I
then
got.
next week's episode is called episode 43, Red Eye. What are our predictions?
It looks terrifying. It might unironically give me nightmares.
Yeah, it does actually look terrifying. I'm fairly certain that this
eyes
is
opening
pretty
up on
into
people's
it.
skin. Ugh.
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
think
good.
it's might be Eismon, who was previously in Digimon Adventure, Colin. So it would be nice to see that Digimon again, I guess. But it just looks like, isn't that the phobia, trypophobia? Wouldn't this episode kind of be spooky for people who have that? Or is that more just general circles and maybe eyes are okay? I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
I would imagine probably.
Probably not great.
Yeah, I mean...
like, this is like, I'm sure Ghost Game will just be known as the series to activate several different phobias depending on the episode.
And fetishes.
Oh.
And fetishes, yeah, like totally spies, I guess.
Yep.
It seems like it has
Which
potential to be pretty Ava as well, which I'm looking forward to. Y'all can expect some Ava from me next week, probably.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
It is right there.
I'm pretty sure there's an exact imagery, and I think it might be Evangelion, where there's just an eye that splits from just nothing. And I think it is Evangelion.
It does
So
all
yeah, that
return to
tracks.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We all return to nothing. Okay, everyone, so thanks for joining us for another week and another episode of Digimon Ghost Game. You can join us next time for episode 43, Red Eye. The link dumps linked description, and so are various ways where you can contact us and stay updated, such as leaving us a comment on this episode on YouTube to join in the conversation, and also for a full list of ways to find the podcast across the internet, such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, head over to linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. So that's our Linktree account, and one day I'm going to work out a better way to say that URL, because it's just linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. So if you can't write that in, go to our Twitter, which is just @TranslationMon, and then click on our link, because there's a link tree. There we are. I will find out a less jumbled way to say all that one day. Trust me. Anyway, so if you enjoy the podcast or videos or even just my silly little tweets, you can show your support by signing up on Patreon, or maybe not, depending on if I'm moving from Patreon. There's been some stuff recently. I'll work it out, and get some cool rewards and help us hit milestones. And thank you to our account supporters on Patreon: Stephen Reeves, who is 164 and Archive Our Own, Katawashi, Chisai, who you can follow on Twitter @Chisai236, Neobu, who says you should follow Chisai on Twitter @Chisai236, Lismet, who is a Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Emery from Gone Will Hunting, a Hunter Unto Rewatch podcast, Magnus, Lucas, JasonMon05, Patrick, Jason, Grey Tanuki, Shelby, Digital Hazard, who is on Twitch @TheDigitalHazard, Dedicated Gazi, Elemis, Teropiamon, and Vmon Tamer. You can also make a one donation on PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Edgemon. You can also donate to me on my coffee account, ko-fi.com/Airdra. So that's it for this week. And Quinn and Chloe, do you have anything you want to say before we wrap up? Is there anything that you're interested in playing, watching, whatever, this past week?
I started playing Hollow Knight again today, which is the first time I've played a game in maybe 4 months, which is pretty wild.
That's cool. Having fun?
Yeah, it's a great game. Release Silk Song already, you cowards. Team Cherry.
Meanwhile, I've been playing Temtem, and I've been having a time. A review video incoming because it has. But I've been playing on Switch and it has crashed a lot for a full-priced, non-indie priced game. So that's a thing. But hopefully I have some better words to say of it when I actually do release my review for that. Quinn, anything that you have been playing or watching lately?
Not really.
Not really? Just Digimon.
Yeah, playing some Rogue Legacy 2, which is fun, but I, don't have all that much to say about it.
That is fair. But yes, so thanks for joining me, thanks for listening, and of course we'll see you on the next one. Bye!
Bye!